NFT basics. In this section, I'm going to start off with the basics and explain what an NFT is. After that, I'll then be walking you through the biggest NFT marketplace out there, which by the way is OpenSea. I'll also be showing you an alternative you can use to OpenSea if you wish, although in reality you should be using the biggest NFT marketplace out there by far, as it has the biggest volume, biggest demand, and if you create NFTs, you're more likely to sell them if you list them on OpenSea. But anyway, I'll go through that all in this section of the course. I'll also be going over what are gas fees. A lot of people seem to get confused about gas fees. However, I'm going to make sure it's very simple and easy to understand. I'll also be going through the two different types of gas fees there are, which are one-time gas fees and recurring gas fees. So without further ado, let's get started. What is an NFT? You've probably seen loads of things online about NFTs. You've seen people buying NFTs for an insane amount of money. For example, you might have seen Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, selling his first tweet ever for over $2.9 million, which is absolutely insane. Or you may have even seen this one, the people selling an NFT for $69 million. It just gets even more crazier. Even the NBA wants to get involved. They've actually taken live moments of a basketball game and turned them into what they call an NBA Top Shot, and they're selling that as an NFT. In fact, a recent highlight of LeBron James, that sold for $208,000. Again, absolutely insane numbers. The most popular one you probably would have saw would have been this Nyan cat right here, which sold for $600,000. This was actually a GIF instead of an image, but again, insane numbers. Now, to understand what all of this is about and why people are spending so much money on these things, you need to understand these three letters, which are NFT. NFTs are way more than just random JPEGs or GIFs on the internet. It's more to do with human psychology and how we value things, which, due to technology, is always changing. A technology that a lot of people are excited about and believe is going to change the world. Whilst, on the other hand, some people do not share this view. A lot of people believe this whole crypto NFT thing is a bubble and it's just waiting to burst, as all the computers used to power these things are having a negative impact on the environment. It's really crazy, as it's basically all of these things combined together, and I'm here to explain it to you in a simple way without using all of those fancy buzzwords which you would see online, such as blockchain, ledger, crypto art, or even the word NFT in itself, as let's be honest, if you're completely new to this space, all of these words can be very overwhelming. So, NFT stands for Non-Fungible Token. To understand exactly what this means, let's break the words down and focus on the middle word, which is fungible. If you carry out a Google search for the word fungible, you are going to see it says, of goods contracted for without an individual specimen being specified, which in layman's terms basically means replaceable by another identical item, or mutually interchangeable. The main takeaway here is that the word fungible basically means replaceable. However, of course, the crypto industry love to use these fancy words instead, but basically, fungible equals replaceable. Meaning, non-fungible equals non-replaceable. You can't replace it. It is unique. There is only one of them. For example, the Mona Lisa painting. There is only one original painting and it can't be replaced once it's lost or destroyed. Let me give you an example using something I feel very strong about, which is my first ever suit. Let's imagine that you want to buy a blue suit, so you go onto your favorite retailer's website and you see a blue suit for $100. If you was to purchase this suit for $100, you don't care which specific suit they send you. They're literally going to make thousands and thousands of these suits and send them to all of the stores and all of the warehouses. The suit is fungible. It is replaceable. As long as you get one that's similar to the one you saw on the website, you don't really care which one you get. They are fungible. They are interchangeable. However, let's talk about one unique suit that has been with me for a very long time. This is my original blue suit. Here's a picture of me wearing it, sipping on my tea because of course I'm British. However, for the purpose of this video, let's use this cool animated suit instead of using this image. But basically, this suit is really important to me. It has emotional value to me. It's the suit I wore when I closed my first client ever for my marketing agency. This suit has great significance to me, and because of that, it's very, very valuable, it's very scarce, there is only one of them. This specific suit is not replaceable. If I went back to that retailer to order another blue suit, yes, there will be some online for $100, however, they won't be this exact one. Funny enough, if my friend was to actually go ahead and sell this suit without me knowing, I would literally pay double that price, $200, just to get it back, as it's my original suit. I have an emotional connection with this suit. This suit is non-fungible. Now, everything in our economy is either one or the other. It's either fungible or non-fungible. A bag of pasta, for example, that is fungible. If you go to the shop to buy a bag of pasta, you don't care which bag you get as long as it's a bag of pasta. The pasta is fungible. The famous Mona Lisa painting, well, there's only one original in the world, so it's non-fungible. It can't be replaced. And because of this, as you probably guessed, non-fungible items are worth way more than fungible items. So now we know what the NF in NFT means, which means there is only one last part to cover, which is the T. Now, bear with me as this is the part which typically confuses most people. However, we are going to go through another animation so you can easily understand this. The T in NFT stands for token, which, yes, as you guessed it, is another fancy crypto buzzword. To understand what a token is, we have to understand the core functionality of the blockchain. Let's imagine that I want to buy 5 apples from my friend called Kelly. She charges me $10 for these apples. So I pull out my bank card, I swipe it in her little payment terminal machine, and as soon as I swipe my card, a message is sent to my bank, which says, hey, Josh wants to spend $10 on apples, and that $10, it needs to go to Kelly's bank. Which is pretty much how these private banks work. They document every transaction that comes in and out of your bank account, and then at the end of the day, you will have a tally which will show you how much money you have left in your account once all of these transactions have come out. So I spent $10 on these 5 apples, that will then be deducted from my balance and added onto Kelly's balance. Now literally, your money is just a number on someone's screen. Meaning we put a lot of trust in these banks to make sure there are no errors in these transactions that they are documenting every day. However, sometimes things do go wrong. We've all heard loads of things in the past about how Wall Street have made massive errors, costing some companies up to $900 million, all because of a small error. There are plenty more, but we've all seen these things happen before. As the internet has grown, people started to wonder if it's possible to do this same thing of sending money from one person to another person without the need for banks. And the outcome is a very clear concept called the blockchain, which basically does the same thing which banks are doing currently right now. However, instead of these banks keeping all these transactions private, meaning no one can verify them and mistakes can also be covered up, the blockchain does all of this in public and records all the transactions on the internet. So let's take a look at the same example in the crypto world now and see how it works. So Kelly charges me 10 Bitcoin for 5 apples. I take out my card and I swipe it on her machine. Then instead of my card trying to contact my private bank to verify this transaction, it goes onto this public record, which we call the ledger, where there are loads of computers who are keeping track of every single transaction, literally every single millisecond. If I literally don't have 10 Bitcoin to pay for these 5 apples, then all of these computers, which are keeping track of every transaction, they are going to notice a discrepancy and turn around and say, no, decline. Josh, you don't have 10 Bitcoins, buddy. And we know that because we've accurately documented every transaction on the blockchain and everyone else can see it and they can all verify this too. If I do have the 10 Bitcoin, then all of these computers looking at the public record will be able to see this and they'll approve the transaction. and this will then be documented in the public record for everyone else to see. Now it's clear to everyone that Kelly has 10 Bitcoin. The main takeaway here is that the group verifies the legitimacy of every transaction by keeping an eye on every transaction on the blockchain, not by relying on a private bank. At this point, you're probably thinking, great, I know what NF means, and I also know what a token is. However, what does any of this have to do with a cat gift selling for $600,000? Well, what we've looked at so far is all to do with money and currencies, right? Let's imagine that one day you wake up and you're looking at the ledger, and you see a transaction that says a Malaysian businessman wants to give $2.9 million to Jack Dorsey in exchange for a little token or digital certificate that says the tweet is now owned by the Malaysian businessman. The only thing the blockchain cares about is, does this Malaysian businessman have $2.9 million? So they check all the previous transactions on the ledger. They see, yes, he has the money, so they go ahead and approve the transaction. And now that transaction is written in a public record that is unalterable and everyone can see it. Everyone can now see that that Malaysian businessman owns that tweet. The token has been transferred to someone else. This is exactly what an NFT is, a non-fungible token. And like most things in life, when it comes to valuing something, having an entire group of people validate that it's real increases the value of that thing. It's crazy, right? As soon as us humans have enough of what we need, such as the basics, food, water, heating, and so on, we start to put value on other things. Although, to be honest, the art world has been doing this for years. This is why NFTs started off with just being JPEGs, as it's more understandable and relatable as to how people determine value in the current world as we know it. Some people can literally look at a painting and feel an emotional connection which is worth a lot of money to them, which is exactly why they'll pay a lot of money to go ahead and actually own that painting. However, what's good to know is that NFTs are not just limited to artwork, they can be applied to literally anything. An NFT is literally just digital verified ownership. I mean, even musicians are selling their music as NFTs now, and they're making millions of dollars. NFTs can be applied to anything, as like I just said, it is just digital verified ownership. I hope this video has demystified the whole NFT world and it all makes sense. It did take me a lot of time to produce this one specific video, a lot of going back and forth with the animator. However, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got tons of value out of it, and I'll see you in the next one. When it comes to buying and selling NFTs, there are a few different marketplaces you can choose from. However, the biggest marketplace by miles is this one right here called OpenSea. That is opensea.io. I will actually include a link to this in the resources for ease, but OpenSea is by far the biggest platform out there. It is the market leader by far when it comes to NFTs. Some of the biggest and most popular collections to date have all been launched on OpenSea first. That includes really big collections such as CryptoPunks. You may have actually seen some of these images online on Facebook and Twitter. This was launched on OpenSea first, and it was a very popular project. You can see in total, literally almost 800,000 Ethereum have been traded in total, buying and selling these NFTs, which is absolutely insane. Another really big NFT collection is called Bored Ape Yacht Club. This was also launched on OpenSea and is a very popular project. Again, you may have seen some of these monkeys and apes before. This was an NFT collection that was launched on OpenSea first. And once again, you can see there's over 330,000 Ethereum traded in total for this whole project. So all of the biggest and most popular projects, you're going to find all of them on OpenSea. And it's because it's the biggest marketplace out there. So if you want to take NFTs seriously, I highly recommend that you consider OpenSea. The platform has been around for a while now. They actually launched in 2018, but essentially in this video, what I want to do is go through the main user interface and show you exactly how to navigate your way around OpenSea. It's very straightforward and easy to use. It's also very user friendly, which is another reason why everyone seems to love this platform. Starting off at the top, you have a search bar. If you are aware of any collection which you'd like to browse NFTs for, you can simply go ahead and type in that collection. Maybe go for Crypto Ball Society, maybe. That's a really big project. You can see this collection page in particular is verified, so we know this is definitely the right project, and we're not going to buy any NFTs from another project which is maybe trying to imitate this collection right here, as there are a lot of scams going on in the NFT world, as you're going to find out later on in the course, as I have a dedicated video going over all of the most common NFT scams out there so you can actually protect yourself and your money. Once you land on a collection page, you have 4 main metrics at the top. The first is items, which shows us how many items are in that collection or how many NFTs in total. We can see how many owners they are, so how many people actually own all of these items. In this instance, if we saw there were 8,000 items in total in the whole collection, and out of those 8,000 items, they were only owned by, let's say, 500 people, then you probably do not want to be getting involved with that project, as what that means is a lot of these 500 people could all of a sudden decide to sell their NFTs, and what that will do will have a big impact on how much you have to pay and how much you can get if you were to sell your NFT in this collection. That is the first 2 things, items and owners. The third thing is what we call the floor price. The floor price, in layman's terms, is basically the cheapest NFT in the whole collection. So if we go to buy now and turn on this filter and then go low to high, we can see the cheapest NFT for sale is 1.4 Ethereum, then it goes up to 1.425, 1.44, so the cheapest NFT in the whole collection is 1.4. Now, you do have to double check this number a lot of times because sometimes OpenSea doesn't update this straight away. Sometimes this NFT will have already sold. If we open this up, just make sure it hasn't sold. We can see, yep, it's still available for buy now, but sometimes this would have sold, meaning the floor price has now changed from 1.4 to 1.425, which is actually 1.43. So that covers the floor price. And then the fourth and final metric, as I just ran through already when I showed you the CryptoPunks and the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the last one is volume traded. And what this does is give you an overview of how much money has been spent within the whole collection on the whole. So at the time of recording, there has been 10,800 Ethereum spent on total buying and trading NFTs in this specific collection. OpenSea does have some really good filters you can use to find the exact NFT you are looking for. For example, let's imagine you are looking to buy a really rare NFT. Then what you can do is simply add the buy now filter to show you all the listings that are up for sale. You can then change it from low to high to see highest last sell. That will then show you the NFTs which have sold most recently for the most amount of money. And we can see that this one right here is on sale for 69 Ethereum, which is a lot of money. So if you're wondering, well, why is this one 69 Ethereum? And why is this one 12? Why is this one 14? Why are people pricing their NFTs so different? Well, we can actually go onto this NFT right here. And if you scroll down, there'll be a section right here called properties. If you expand this, it will tell you exactly what properties this NFT has. And as you can see, it says it is a legendary NFT, and just 0.26% of all NFTs in this collection are marked as legendary. So if you manage to buy a legendary NFT, you can sell it for a lot of money. As you can see, this one in particular is going for $197,000, which is absolutely insane. So out of the whole collection, only 0.26% of them are marked as a legendary. If we go back to the main collection page, you can see, remember, there are almost 8,000 items in that collection. If you're lucky enough to get a rare one, you can definitely list it on OpenSea and make a lot of money. And don't worry, as I'm going to show you later on in the course with real-time walkthroughs, exactly how you can buy some of these NFTs using a strategy we call whitelisting. You can then get them super cheap and list them on OpenSea on the marketplace and actually make a really good profit. This is exactly what I have been doing, and I'm going to give you some examples as well. But essentially, the main aim of this video is just to show you the OpenSea marketplace and how it works. We have a few different options at the top. So if you don't know the name of a project or a collection you are looking for, you can simply go to Explore and then go to All NFTs. That will then show you all of the NFT collections on the marketplace. You can then filter them by high to low, buy now, specific collections. Again, maybe you do know the collection you're after. You can also break them down by chains as well. So this is the exact chain which the NFT project has been built on, which, by the way, the majority of them are going to be built on Ethereum, as that is the most popular blockchain for NFTs at the moment. But you can essentially come in here and start to browse these NFTs and see if something catches your eye. Another really cool tip you can do is you can go to stats and then go to activity. And what this will do, it will show you all the transactions which are happening on the whole of OpenSea. So we can see it was literally 1:33 seconds ago, or it's going up because this is live. We've got 42 seconds, 43, a few seconds ago, a minute ago. This is literally all transactions coming through the marketplace right now. So if you're ever struggling to find a project which you think may be a good project to get involved in, you can always have a look at the activity tab under stats and have a look at what people are buying right now. If you manage to see that a lot of people are buying the same things, all NFTs within the same collection, you can then click that collection, investigate, and find out what's going on. Which again, I'm going to be covering all that analysis later on in the course. I just wanted to give you an idea once again of how to use OpenSea. Another reason why OpenSea is really, really good is because if you go back to the homepage and scroll down, they have a really comprehensive help center, lots of FAQ questions in there. If we go to their OpenSea help center right here, you can see they have a whole section just for getting started, lots of FAQs in here. If we go back and then go to if you're buying an NFT, again, we have a whole NFT drop down section. The same applies to selling your NFTs. Lots of questions and answers, which just makes it really, really user friendly. As you're going to see in the next video, when I show you some alternatives to OpenSea, you're going to see that they don't have that much support. So if you are a beginner, they're probably not going to be the best fit for you. However, like I said, OpenSea is the largest NFT marketplace out there. If you are serious about NFTs, then this is the best marketplace for you. And just before I end the video, the one last thing which I want to show you, which also makes this one of the best platforms out there, is they have loads and loads of wallet connections. For those who don't know what a wallet is, don't worry, as I'm going to go through that in the next section of the course in great detail. But essentially, a wallet is where you store your digital currency. So you need to use your digital currency, Ethereum, to actually buy these NFTs. And when it comes to connecting your wallet to OpenSea, we can click this icon right here and you can see they have lots and lots of options. They've got MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, Wallet Connect, Formatic, and you can even click show more options and see what other wallets they have as well. They've got lots of wallets for you to pick from. So it doesn't matter where you have money already. You know, maybe you've got money in one of these wallets and you're wondering, can I use OpenSea? Well, yes, you can, as they accept lots and lots of wallets. Now, again, don't worry if you don't know what any of this means. I'm going to cover this later on in the course, but this is just to show you it already works with all of the leading wallets on the marketplace. That's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. If you are looking for an alternative marketplace other than OpenSea, then this video is for you, as I'm going to go through two really solid alternatives. The first is a website called rarible.com. It's actually very similar to OpenSea in regards to how you navigate around the website. For example, if we scroll down onto the home page, you can see we got this section right here which says top collections in one day. And what this will do is, just like OpenSea, it will show you the most popular collections on the platform in the last day. You can actually filter through this and go for 7 days or even 30 days. This is really good to get a good idea of what projects in particular have been doing very well on that specific platform. You can also browse through these projects based on what blockchain these projects are built on, whether they're built on Ethereum or another blockchain like Flow. Typically, 99% of all the big projects are going to be built on Ethereum, which is exactly what the majority of the projects on OpenSea uses as well. Now, you are not just limited to viewing the top collections in the last specific days. You can just click see all right here. That will then open all of the collections on the platform and you can see them organized in terms of volume. So this is the amount of volume that have been put through this specific collection, aka this is basically the amount of sales generated for this specific collection. So once again, it's very similar to how OpenSea does it as well. Once you find a collection you are interested in, for example, let's go to Little Heroes, or Little Heroes I should say. All you need to do is go ahead and open it up. So let's go for Bored Ape Yacht Club as our number one. And once again, once you're on a page, you can see some high level details of the whole collection. We can see the highest sell. So believe it or not, one of these NFTs below was sold for $3.2 million, which is absolutely insane. This is why this is literally the biggest NFT collection out there. We can also see what we call the floor price. So once again, the floor price, just how it is on OpenSea. This is the price of the cheapest NFT in the whole collection. So right now, if you wanted to buy one of these Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, you'd have to spend a minimum of $186,000. In fact, almost $187,000. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We can see how many items is in the whole collection, so just under 10,000. And we can also see how many unique people own items in this collection as well. 6.3 thousand people, which is over 0.5%, which is a really, really healthy number. You always want to avoid collections when you see, for example, there are 10,000 items and they're owned by, let's say, 1,000 people. Well, that means there's only 1,000 people controlling all of their NFTs in that specific collection, meaning if half of them choose to sell their collection, maybe they're in a private WhatsApp group or Discord, then that's going to have a big impact on the price. Meaning if you buy in at the floor price and they all of a sudden sell, that's going to have a big impact on the floor price. It's going to bring it down. I mean, your NFT is going to be worth a lot less money. So these are really good high level metrics to look at. And once again, it's pretty much exactly the same thing they have on OpenSea as well. And this is exactly why it's a really good alternative marketplace. Once you open one of these NFTs, so we'll go for this one, you can see you get pretty much the same details once again as we have on OpenSea. We get the details, the person who owns it, we get some details about the properties, how rare they are. You can see it just there, it's quite small. I will zoom in just so you can see that. And of course, if you do want to go ahead and buy this NFT, just go ahead and click buy. If you decide you want to go ahead and purchase this NFT for 71 Ethereum, which is absolutely insane, just to give you some context on how much money that actually is. At the time of making this video, 71 ETH is currently worth about 230,000 US dollars, which is absolutely insane. So if you have that money and you want to buy this NFT, then yeah, you can easily go ahead and do that. When you go back to the main collection page, you've got lots of the same filters as you have on OpenSea as well. You can sort all the NFTs by price from low to high, high to low, or even ones that are recently added. If we go ahead and click activity, just like we have on OpenSea, we can see all the activity related to this specific collection. Let's go ahead and click sell so we can see all the recent sales. So we've got one 22 minutes ago, but it isn't actually a sell. It's just removed from sell by this person. As you probably already figured, I click sales from the filters and it's not just showing me items that have sold, it's also showing me things that have been removed. So it's not the best when it comes to filters. However, let's scroll down and see if we can find a recent sale. We've got one right here 6 hours ago. This one was purchased from this seller for 100 Ethereum. A lot of money once again. You can actually click onto the seller profiles or buyer profiles as well. And you can also see what else they have in the collection. So you can see here's the one they just bought. And they've also got some other NFTs in their collection as well. You're probably wondering, well, what is the main difference between Rarible and OpenSea then? They all have lots of collections, they've got the same amount of filters, the same amount of options. Well, the two main differences between Rarible and OpenSea is number one, the biggest collections out there, they always launch on OpenSea first. If you are trying to be one of the first people to buy an NFT, once it comes onto a marketplace, your best bet is to use OpenSea. In addition to this, OpenSea also have much better support than Rarible. For example, if we scroll down to the support documentations by going to Help Center, you can see that it don't really have that many options. For example, if we click Getting Started on Rarible, they've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different like FAQs right here, which is not a lot whatsoever. If we go into another one, you can see they've just got one there. We go into another random one like verification. Again, they've got 1, 2. FAQ, the main FAQ, well, there's just 10. Compare that to what you saw in the last video in OpenSea, and you'll start to see that OpenSea, excuse the pun, has a way better support catalog. Which, to be fair, is most likely because Rarible is more of a newer platform. This one actually launched in 2020. Another alternative to OpenSea is this website right here called Mintable, mintable.app. Again, I'm not going to kind of bore you and go through exactly how to browse collections, as we've already done that with Rarible. And to be honest with you, a lot of these marketplaces are very similar, and I really want to focus, of course, on giving as much value as possible rather than walking through every single platform one by one. So these are two good solutions if you are looking for an alternative to OpenSea. I will link to both of these in the resources. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Before we dive in how to buy, sell, and even create NFTs, there is one important thing which you need to be aware of, and that is what we call gas fees. Now, I'm not going to bore you with lots and lots of theory about how Ethereum came out, the blockchain, as that is what literally every person does, and all they end up doing is complicating things and making it more difficult to understand. I'm going to explain it in a nice and straightforward way. Again, I'll be adding in some animations to make it even clearer. In the most simplest terms, a gas fee is literally a transaction fee. These gas fees apply to all transactions made in Ethereum. It doesn't matter if you're buying an NFT, whether you're buying a hat for your girlfriend or your boyfriend, it doesn't matter. If the transaction is made in Ethereum, there is going to be a gas fee applied to it. Some important things to know, as a lot of people seem to be getting this wrong and getting confused, is number one, gas fees are not a fixed amount. For some reason, a lot of people out there are saying gas fees should always be between $0 and $10. I have no idea where people get this information from, but it's completely false. That is not true. The second thing to be aware of is gas fees are not a percentage of the transaction value. Gas fees literally fluctuate in price every second. It is not a fixed amount, and you're going to see exactly what I mean in the next section of the course when I go ahead and purchase an NFT. So you're probably wondering, well, if gas fees are not a fixed amount and they're also not a percentage of the transaction value, then how are they calculated? So the exact specific amount you are going to be charged is based upon how many other transactions are currently getting processed on the Ethereum blockchain. We talked about how in the blockchain there are these really powerful computers which are checking and validating payments, right? Well, gas is literally the computing power required to process a transaction. If there are a lot of transactions going on at the same time, then it's going to cost more to process your transaction. To understand exactly what this means, let's go ahead and look at another animation. Let's imagine you go onto your favorite retailer's website and you see this amazing green hat, you absolutely love it and you want to buy it for your partner. And after checking the price, you find out that this hat costs 1 ETH, 1 Ethereum. So you take out your card, you swipe it on the machine, and then you send that 1 ETH to the retailer. To process this payment, you will be charged a gas fee. You may have heard of the term miners before. Well, you know those big powerful computers I was talking about, the ones that process all the payments? Well, miners own those computers. Now, just to clarify, these aren't these really small laptop computers. These are literally massive powerful computers which literally fill up a whole room. Well, they are the ones that process the payment for you. And to process the payment, they charge you a fee. This fee is what we call gas. So we're basically paying a miner to process our payment. Which is why if there are a lot of transactions going through the Ethereum blockchain, then these miners are going to be in more demand and they're going to charge you more for gas to process your transaction. However, as there are a different amount of transactions going through literally every second, the amount you will pay is going to fluctuate if you did it 1 second later, 2 seconds later, even 3 seconds later. The price of gas is changing literally every second. Although the biggest takeaway here is that the amount you pay is going to be dependent on how busy the blockchain is. If you're still struggling to understand what gas is, then the best way to view gas is literally like gas you put in a car. Imagine your car's fuel tank is always empty, and you want to get that car from A to B. Well, it's going to need some gas in it. Miners are essentially the people who determine how much gas costs in that specific moment. If you choose not to pay for the gas, then your car, aka transaction, is not going to go anywhere. If you ever want to figure out how much gas costs in a specific moment, then you can use this website right here, ethereumprice.org/gas. I will include a link to this in the resources for ease, but essentially what this will do is it will show you the price of gas over the last week. So you can see there's really big spikes where you can see at some points in time, gas was costing a lot of money. Now, this is really useful to know, as if you are running on a tight budget, you obviously do not want to be making any purchases using Ethereum when gas prices are really high. So I really recommend you actually come into here and check the gas prices. And it's always good to see past historical trends as well, just to see historically when gas has been on the high. Now, 9 times out of 10, when you see a big spike in gas like this, it is most likely due to a massive NFT project releasing and everyone is trying to mint that NFT, and what you result in, lots of congestion charge on the network and higher gas prices. You can actually scroll down and get a breakdown of gas price by the time of the day. For example, you can see that right here on Sunday at 4 a.m. UK time, gas price was a little bit higher than it was an hour later at 5 a.m. You can see 74 gigawatt right there, which by the way is the metric that gas is measured in. I'm going to go through a detailed analysis of the gas breakdown in just a second for those who are interested and would like to learn more about gas. But essentially, the darker the color you see here, the more expensive gas is in that specific moment. So if I was looking at this chart, let's imagine it is Saturday right now, and let's imagine it was 7 p.m. GMT time. If I can see that this color is darker than the previous color, which would be above it, 6 p.m., then I am not going to make a transaction. I'm going to wait for this little segment to come down to a more brighter color so I know that I'm not overpaying for gas. If you don't care about any of this historic trends and you're not really interested in seeing how much gas costs 2 days ago, 3 days ago, then you can use this other website, which is also really good. It's called everscan.io/gas tracker. Once again, I will include a link to this in the resources. And what this does, it will give you an average price of how much gas costs based on all the transactions currently going through Ethereum's blockchain. We get a low figure, an average figure, and a high figure. And notice these figures are going to be changing all the time, as of course, the price of gas is always changing as well. The one you need to pay attention to is going to be the middle one right here, which says average, as this is the average price of gas. You can have a low and a high price of gas, as what you'll discover is sometimes people will manually determine how much gas they want to pay per transaction. Some people have a really strict budget and will not want to spend a specific amount in gas, and what they'll do is they'll enter in the minimum and the maximum gas figures in the wallet when they're processing a transaction, and that is why you get a low and a high figure for gas. What's good to note as well is if you go for a low figure, a figure lower than the average, then your transaction is going to take longer to process and actually go through. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want to change these gas figures. Just leave it to the default that the wallet has, and your transaction is going to go through in a timely manner. I was planning to initially end the video there, but I want to go a little bit deeper into gas and explain exactly how it is calculated, as there are actually 2 other variables which are used in addition to network congestion. Meaning there are 3 things that determine the price of gas, which are number 1, the current price of Ethereum, number 2, the complexity of the transaction you are trying to process, and number 3, as we just discussed, the network congestion, aka how many people are processing a transaction at the same time. Now, I want to stress something that's really, really important, is that the first 2, number 1, the current price of Ethereum, and number 2, the complexity of the transaction, well, these 2 things are fixed. You cannot control the price of Ethereum, and you can't control the complexity of the transaction, as when you're buying NFTs, it's pretty much the same complex in terms of processing power. So this is why when I explained earlier on in the video that gas is basically determined by the network congestion, as that is something you have control over. You have no control over number 1 and number 2. So if you don't want to get too detailed into gas and you're not really interested in figuring out what is number 1 and number 2, how does it work, how does this actually calculate into a formula to determine the price of gas, then you don't have to worry about that. However, this part of the video is for those who really want a detailed explanation of exactly how gas is calculated. So how do we calculate gas? Gas is measured in a unit called gigawatt, and 1 gigawatt is 1 billionth of an ether, or 0.000000001 Ethereum. Of course, no one's going to be saying that massive long number. You can say it costs 1 gigawatt. As you can imagine, saying 1 gigawatt instead of 1 billionth of an ether is a lot more simple and straightforward, which is why we use the unit gigawatt when talking about gas. The minimum amount of gas required to process a transaction, aka buying an NFT, is 21,000. To calculate your gas fee, you must multiply that number by the average gas cost noted in gigawatt. So let me run through an example and show you exactly what this means in the real world. So let's imagine that at this current time, Ethereum costs $2,500. And we know that a transaction costs 21,000 gas. We go over to those gas websites I showed you, and we can see that the average gas price is 69 gigawatt. Well, to work out the gas price, it would be 21,000, the transaction cost, times 69, which is the average gas price, and that will give us our total giveaway number, which is 1,449,000. And to convert this number into money, what we need to do is convert giveaway into Ethereum. So we know that 1 giveaway equals 1 billionth of an Ethereum, meaning that 1,449,000 giveaway is equal to 0.01449 Ethereum. We know that 1 Ethereum equals $2,500, so we can easily work out that 0.001449 Ethereum is going to cost $3.62, meaning our gas fee is going to be $3.62. I hope that makes sense. However, if you are finding this a little difficult to understand, then honestly, I would not stress, as when you buy an NFT using a wallet such as MetaMask, which I'm going to show you in the next section of the course, whenever you make a purchase, well, it's automatically going to work out the gas fee for you. You don't have to worry about doing any of these calculations or anything like that. You can literally just go and find an NFT you want to buy. It will automatically calculate the gas fee for you. However, like I said, I'm just going through the detailed analysis and explanation just so those who are interested know how gas fees actually work. However, in a nutshell, if you don't care about any of this stuff, then all you need to know is that the amount you are going to pay for gas is going to be dependent on how busy the network is, as like I just said, you don't control number 1 or number 2 of the actual gas calculation. The only thing you can control is how busy the network is. If you see the gas fee is really high, then it means the network is congested. You can come back at a later date to process that transaction. So now you know what gas fees are and how they work. I'll see you in the next video where we're going to break down the 2 different types of gas fees there are. I'll see you there. In the last video, we looked at gas fees, and in this video and the next one, I'm going to go over the 2 different types of gas fees that actually are. We have the first one, which is one-time fees, and we have the second type of gas fee, which is recurring fees. This video is just going to focus on the first one, which is one-time fees. So, what is a one-time fee? A one-time fee is what you have to pay when you are using Ethereum for the first time. These transactions are required to grant transaction permission between your wallet and OpenSea. Which basically means if you are making your first NFT purchase on OpenSea or any other marketplace that is, you will have to pay a one-time fee for this first transaction to grant permission between your wallet and OpenSea. Let's actually go ahead and have a look at what this fee looks like. So when you actually register your account, it's called the account registration fee. You don't pay any fees just for making your OpenSea account. However, as soon as you decide to list a NFT for sale, you can see you have this initialization fee. You can see right here, initialize your wallet. Right here, number 1, it says to get set up for selling on OpenSea for the first time, you must initialize your wallet, which requires a one-time gas fee. So this is the one-time fee which I'm referring to. Once you go ahead and pay that fee, you can then list future NFTs in the same collection at no additional cost. You only pay a fee on the NFT once it is sold. It's not that bad. A lot of people are not a fan of this one-time fee they have to pay when listing the first collection. However, I'm actually a fan of this, as this account initialization fee, what it does is it prevents the marketplace from being flooded with absolute junk on there. You'll be surprised at how many people want to create this really basic, boring NFT and try and charge a lot of money for it. And loads of people would be able to get away with it if there wasn't this one-time fee, as they can literally list as many things as they want in different collections without paying any fees. Having this account initialization fee, well, it just helps keep the marketplace more clean, tidy, and prevents newcomers from spamming the marketplace with low quality NFTs. The second one-type fee you can have is when you are involved in any auctions. So if you are involved in any auctions on OpenSea, you need to convert your Ethereum to what we call wrapped Ethereum, and this is basically a currency that allows you to make pre-authorized bids that can be fulfilled at a later date without any further action from you. So if you plan on taking part in any biddings on the marketplace, you will have to pay some fees for that as well, as you need to convert your currency into a different format currency, which allows your bid to automatically increase until they reach your maximum placed bid. It's good to note as well that Ethereum and wrapped Ethereum are worth exactly the same amount and can be exchanged directly on your OpenSea profile. You don't have to go somewhere else to send Ethereum to wrapped Ethereum, then send it back to your wallet, then buy the NFT. It's actually very straightforward and simple to do. The only downside is, of course, you have to pay these fees. That is it for one-time fees. There's not that much to it. These are the two most common ones you are going to see. And that brings us to the end of this video. And I'll see you in the next video where we're going to cover the second type of gas fees. Thanks for watching. The second type of gas fees you can have are what we call recurring gas fees. Recurring gas fees are fees that you pay on transactions after you've paid your one-time fee. Now, I want to make this really clear from the start of the video, is that they are not recurring fees, as in they charge you every single month or every day, for example. These are recurring fees, as in they are fees that apply to literally every transaction you make, even after you've made your first transaction. Again, just to clarify, they are not recurring, as in they charge you every month. It's literally based on every transaction you make after your first transaction. So, when will you actually be paying these recurring fees? Well, you'll pay recurring gas fees when doing any of the below on the Ethereum blockchain. If you are accepting an offer, maybe you've listed an NFT for sale and someone sends you an offer of 1 ETH, if you decide to accept that offer, you will pay a gas fee. You will also pay a gas fee if you are transferring or even gifting an NFT to someone, sending it from your OpenSea account to another person's account. There are gas fees on that as well. And of course, if you are buying an NFT, there is going to be an associated gas fee with that as well, as we covered in the previous videos. There are also gas fees if you decide to list an NFT and then later on decide, hey, I don't want it live anymore, so you cancel that listing. You will be charged a gas fee for cancelling that. You will also be charged a gas fee when you are cancelling a bid. This could be whether you see a nice NFT for sale, you say, hey, I'm going to place a bid of 1 Ethereum. 1 hour later, the offer is still not accepted and you change your mind and you want to cancel that bid, you will be charged a gas fee on that as well. So literally, when you're doing anything on the Ethereum blockchain, you are going to be charged a gas fee. As you would have learned in the previous videos, the exact amount you are going to pay for that gas fee is going to vary greatly depending on when you are making that transaction. Remember, the more busy and congested the blockchain is, the more you're going to pay for that fee. So if you're running on a tight budget, it's best to make these transactions when things are more quieter. But either way, as you can imagine, a lot of people hate these gas fees. You can find so many things online if you just carry out a search for gas fees are outrageous. Why are gas fees so high? You'll find tons and tons of comments, especially in Reddit. You can see that this guy or girl is saying these gas fees are outrageous and hilariously saddening. Don't get upset, buddy. There's nothing we can do about it. We have these gas fees are ridiculous. Crazy gas prices, like no one likes these gas fees. I hate them. I spent so much money paying gas fees. It's absolutely insane. However, there is some promising news coming in the future as Ethereum is working on making the blockchain more efficient in Ethereum 2.0. And when that releases, gas prices should come down drastically. The only downside is nobody really knows when Ethereum 2.0 is actually coming out. But things will get better and they will get cheaper. So the future is definitely promising. However, unfortunately for now, gas fees are here to stay. That brings us to the end of the first section on NFT basics. I hope you are enjoying the course and you're getting tons of value from it. And I'll see you in the next section where we're going to look at how you can actually buy your first NFT. I'll see you there.